Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, and this is episode 109 of the Talking Grammar podcast. Glad you're watching, glad you're listening. However you're here, I'm happy that you are. These podcasts are basically coming out every week now. They're churning even in the off season. They're churning out every week. College basketball content primarily, not 100%, but primarily college basketball content. And the one I got today is a unique one. It's not the one-on-one sit-down interview format that this podcast normally is. This is, as I record this on Tuesday night, it's late Tuesday night, June 17th. And as I record this, I, for the first time, got to see the new Lobo basketball team earlier today for the first time. It was a summer press conference with new coach Eric Olen. We got to talk with Chris Howell. He was a transfer guard that came from UC San Diego, followed not only Eric Olen from UC San Diego, but his older brother, Mikey Howell, who played at UC San Diego and was an assistant coach there last year, now an assistant coach at for the UNM Lobos. So we talked with him and Eric Olen, and then finally we got to see, for the first time, some of these new players. And I will talk not only... I will run some of the press conference clips of both Eric Olen and Chris Howell. And then at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about my reactions to seeing some of the players. I'm going to warn you right now, anybody expecting in-depth, let's go every single player. How did he look? How did he look? How did he look? I saw less than 1 hour of one June practice of a bunch of guys that just met each other a week ago and are learning an entirely new roster, an entirely new coaching staff, an entirely new system. I'm not gonna pretend to have a whole lot more insight than what we already know about these guys, what their stats were at their previous spots, what their highlight reels look like, all that kind of stuff. But I will have some thoughts, some initial reaction, and I will even offer up a way too early. This is why are we even doing this first week of practice in June? Kind of what are we even thinking about? Projected starting lineup. I will give you guys one of those, and we'll see. Come November, how close I was, or how far off I may have been with what I'm projecting today. So anyway, I hope you guys do enjoy this. I hope you guys enjoy all these podcasts that we're doing on the Albuquerque Journal Podcast Network. And if you do, please subscribe to local journalism. Please subscribe to the Albuquerque Journal digital version or print edition. And you can do that at abqjournal.com/subscribe. It'll help keep content like this podcast, content like what we have coming out every single day in the print edition and online, Lobo sports, high school sports, all kinds of content coming your way. So I do want to start off right now with reminding people that Eric Olen, first-year head coach of the UNM Lobos, last time most people in the college basketball world probably remember seeing him, he was walking off a court as UC San Diego's head coach on March 20th in the NCAA tournament when his team, by one bucket, lost to number 5 Michigan, right? Since then, he's obviously had a very busy time, hiring an entirely new staff, recruiting an entirely new roster, moving his family, his wife and 2 daughters, buying a house, just everything he's had to do has been chaos. What was unique in my mind, aside from everything I just mentioned, was that this guy who's been a lifelong basketball coach, his first job after college, or his first real job was coaching basketball at UC San Diego. He was there 21 years. He hasn't had a practice until last week. He didn't have a practice or individual drills, anything like that to go to. His assistants either. They didn't have one player that was still here from last year's team that they could go do individual workouts with or run a practice. So he's basically, since mid-March until last week, hadn't even been able to practice. A coach who can't practice and a dad who wasn't with his family and his daughters, he's been going through it the last couple of months. So I did notice today that there was a little pep in his step, a little twinkle in his eyes, and it was pretty cool to see. I want to start off with some comments that he had about that. About, first of all, not practicing for months. This was the first time in his coaching career in his life that he had to go a stretch like this where he just had no practices to go to. So this is Eric Olen at a press conference today, and here's what he had to say about that.
He is a completely new experience. It's the longest stretch of my professional career without a basketball practice or workout or any of the above. So Yeah, very different. Obviously, we had plenty to do. There's lots to do. It just didn't involve being on the court, which was a big adjustment. So it's been last week was great. Like, it was fun to get back on the court, to have guys here, to start to build, although slow, but just starting the process has been enjoyable. Guys showing up for the most part. Almost everyone's here. So, yeah, it was a long stretch to not be in the gym. It was something I haven't experienced before, but we're through that part, and we're in the gym now, and we're excited to be there. You know, I'd been in one place for over 20 years, so we hadn't moved a lot. It was a lot to pack and throw away from that house, but no, it's been great. You know, certainly chaotic and overwhelming at times, and just all the things to get done in a short amount of time. But now it's great. My family's here. You know, my daughters, who are 7 and 9 and just wrapped up first and third grade, that they finished right at the end of May. So we were letting them finish the school year, and then I think we left the last day of school. Like, their last day of school, we flew out that night, and movers showed up the next day, and so we were here in our house on June 1st, and so that's been great. That's been the biggest thing, was just having my family out here and us, like, living in our house and not being in the hotel. I'm a big fan of the Albuquerque hotels. I stayed in several of them, and that was great. We appreciate that, but it's been really nice to have my family here, and, you know, a few less Southwest flights back to San Diego, and so, yeah, no, we're loving it. It's been a great experience, but we're super excited to be settled here.
All right, so that's what Eric Olen has been going through the last couple months, obviously, and you know, unique experience. You can certainly appreciate what he's gone through, and understand that it's just been kind of weird, right? Chaotic at times. As for the Lobos, he now has a roster, right? He recruited 14 guys. 12 of them are here, and the 2 guys who aren't are 2 fairly recent recruits that they got commitments from, and they have signed, so he can talk about them. And one of them I project as a starter, 6'9" center, Tomislav Buljan from Croatia. He's been playing in a professional league in Croatia, and so when he does get here, the NCAA still has some eligibility items, or I guess rulings and determinations to make on how much of his 4 years of college eligibility maybe will be taken away. Basically, I think if you look at the recent precedent of players who have played in the exact same league as he has, they've taken sometimes 16 games. They have taken sometimes a full year. Both of those happen to two brothers who are playing for Illinois right now, and this offseason has had dozens. I mean, I think the number is 86 or something like that, who have played in professional leagues overseas and are now coming to the United States, taking NIL money, earning NIL money just like anybody else, and actually getting some experience at the college level in the United States, as opposed to playing in the professional leagues that they've been playing in overseas. Many of them obviously will go back once their college career is over, but they are coming now to play for now. So Tomislav Buljan, 6'9". He is a guy that's having some student visa issues right now. He is also joined by 6'8" guard. One other quick note on Buljan, I apologize. He led his league in rebounding, a pretty good high level professional league in Croatia. He came up through their club ranks, right? The clubs in many European countries, the basketball clubs, you're with as an amateur through your teenage years, and you start playing with the pro team, not always collecting money, and he did some of that, and he's now 21, I believe, 22, and is going to be a first-year college student. He's not going to be a freshman by the time the NCAA rules on his eligibility. At least I don't think he will be. Maybe he'll just get some games that he'll have to sit out. But I think what they'll end up ultimately doing is like taking away a year, saying you can play this year, but you're starting as a sophomore. Something like that is what I'm guessing is going to happen. But he led that league in rebounding. He's going to be the starting 5, assuming everything works out and he gets here pretty soon, which is something he actually told me in a direct message on social media. I was asking him about an award he won there, and he's hoping to be here soon. So Eric Olen addresses that a little bit. And the other guy, 6'8" guard, Timeo Pons. Timeo Pons. Probably butchering it either way, but 6'8" guard from France. He right now actually is in the camp trying out for the U19 French national team for the 2025 FIBA U19 World Cup team or World Cup. And he is on the France U19 team. So once that's over, the first games start next week. He'll learn in the next week from the recording of this podcast. He'll probably know by the end of the week if he made the team. It sounds like he probably will. And then the games are next week and a couple weeks of games. So I imagine he will probably be in Albuquerque and with the Lobos. Student visa issues could mean anything, but assuming all that works out, I would imagine he would be probably mid to late July that he would be joining the Lobos. And as Eric Olen's about to, you're about to hear from him, he kind of talks about those two European players to kind of start things off. And then we're going to get into his comments and his thoughts on this roster, his initial reaction to seeing some of these guys finally play, right? He recruited them, of course, but sometimes you just don't know until you see them all on the court together. So some initial thoughts from Eric Olen on the roster, and then from Chris Howell, too, on this roster. So let's start off with three bites of or three sound bites. One, Eric Olen on the European players that are not yet in Albuquerque. Two, Eric Olen on his overall roster and what he thinks he can do with this roster in terms of playing style and scheme. And then Chris Howell on his teammates and what he thinks about this roster as well.
Yeah, so we're waiting on two. Tomislav Buljan from Croatia and Timeo Pons from France. Their status is unknown at the time. Like timeline it's all out of our control at the moment. So we're just sort of waiting through the student visa situation. That's every school in the country that has international players, not just specific to basketball, is working through. So as appointments at embassies and consulates become available, we'll work to get those guys here as quickly as possible. Tomeo is actually in the under 19 camp to make the under 19 team for the World Championships coming up. So his is less of a visa issue. He would be in that situation, but he's got a little bit of time. If he makes that team, and I think he's optimistic that he's got a good chance to make it, then that could push his timeline back even further, but that would be a great opportunity for him. We'd be excited about.
All right, that's Olen kind of updating us on what the two European players that still are yet to arrive in the United States, kind of what's going on with them, what their status is. And I think one of them is going to end up being their starting center. So big things expected from Tomislav Buljan. I don't know as much about Pons, but obviously a skilled player. If at 6'8", he's playing for the French U19 team. Again, France and international basketball, as those who watched the Olympics just this past go around know, France is a very good, formidable force in the world basketball scene. So that was his update, I guess, on the two European players that have not yet joined the team. And now he was asked, now on the roster, kind of asked about the playing style he may have with this roster, the capability and the flexibility that he may have with this roster coming up this season.
I think that we have the skill sets to play a variety of styles. So I think the versatility in our players and their skill sets lends itself to options for us. And so I think that's part of what the summer is for, to really, to really just understand them better. Obviously, we're excited about them. We have film. We have all of the due diligence that we go through in the recruiting process and the vetting process as we put the team together. But until we're on the court and we get reps together and we get to give them instruction and get feedback from them and really understand them as players, it's a little hard to say with certainty exactly how things are going to go in different areas of the game. But, I feel really good about the talent level. I feel really good about the versatility. I feel really good about the attitude and the approach that the guys are bringing so far. And so, there's a lot for us to figure out, and we're not going to rush that process.
Eric Olen on his thoughts on the roster, at least initial thoughts on this roster that he's now being able to coach for the first time. Chris Howell is a player that I think Lobo fans are going to, fall in love with pretty quick. Obviously, a mature senior now, fourth-year college player. Has a older brother who's on the coaching staff, has nothing but a lot of love, he and his family, for Eric Olen and what he's done for both Mikey Howell and who played at UC San Diego, and now Chris Howell. Just a great leader, you can tell. Very confident young man, and certainly articulates his thoughts on leadership very well. And it was fun to listen to him today. I think Lobo fans are going to end up loving him. As far as his basketball goes, didn't score a ton last year, but he didn't have to. He had three. There were three other guys who were really good scorers on that UC San Diego team, but he's a fantastic defender. I mean, statistically speaking, he was, I think, top 30 in the country in terms of Bart Torvik's defensive ratings. So anyway, fantastic defensive player and a fantastic leader that I think Olen and this coaching staff are gonna lean on heavily to sort of, if this team comes together and gels and has good chemistry, it's guys like Chris Howell that are really going to be kind of behind that. We get to some of that leadership conversation here in a little bit, but right now, here's Chris Howell when he was asked sort of, all right, tell us what you think, man. What about these teammates that you're just getting to know over the past week? How good can this team be? Here's Chris Howell on that.
For sure. I think to start is we have a great group of guys. Great, a lot of talent. A lot of speed, athleticism, just everything you could ask for in a team. But even just seeing how close we have gotten in this first week is kind of unreal. Seeing how close the locker room is, how great it is off the court as well. I think as far as on the court, only you guys have to wait to see. I think we have some stuff for you guys. I'm excited.
There you go. It's Chris Howell talking about kind of we have some stuff to see, right? He's excited about this team, about this Lobo roster, that he's going to be a starting guard. No doubt in my mind that he'll be a starter. He's 6'6". He's going to be the 2 guard, maybe the 3. Again, I'll give you some projections on this kind of crazy first glimpse kind of reactions to who I think will be the starting 5. I actually have 8 guys that I'm going to mention. I'll have thoughts on a lot of players, but I think there's going to be 8 guys right now that I think will be in the primary rotation. But anyway, I'll get to that. I think Chris Howell will definitely be a big minutes leader on the court, guard, defender, all that kind of stuff. He knows, obviously, the system, but I just think he's also a really good basketball player that I think Lobo fans are going to really like in a lot of ways. So moving on, I guess we'll move on to this next part. I thought it was interesting. Eric Olen was asked today, obviously he's following a 4-year run of Richard Pitino, and a lot of success the last couple of years in particular for Richard Pitino's Lobos. Well, what is something that maybe Eric Olen, and while he had a great system himself and is considered a very great, certainly or rapidly rising coach in the coaching ranks for what he did last year at UC San Diego, where, by the way, they did finish higher ranked than the Lobos did this past year. So what does Eric Olen like in particular about this Pitino team that he's learned about and that he's following? Is he going to steal anything from the Richard Pitino Lobos? I thought that was an interesting question. He liked it too, and here's what he had to say about that.
That's a great question. I think the one thing that that I thought they did a great job of that we'd like to copy, for lack of a better word, was the pace that they played with on offense. I thought they really did a fantastic job of turning defense into offense, playing with great pace offensively. They were excellent in transition. I think that we have a team that's capable of doing some of those similar things. I think we have really good length and athleticism. I think we have a lot of depth. So given our elevation, some of those other factors with our roster, we'd like to play pretty fast. We'll see how that works out. Like everyone says they want to play fast until you actually have to do it, but we'll see. We would like to play fast, and I thought that's something they did an excellent job of, was really using the tempo to their advantage to create some really efficient offense with their combination of skill sets. Like, I thought that made a lot of sense, was a smart decision, and paid off for them.
All right, so he wants to play fast. He wants to get out and run a little bit. He's obviously going to shoot a lot more threes. Has a better shooting team than any of the four Patino teams. I can tell you that with quick observation, even just one practice. All these guys can shoot pretty well. Some other differences between the teams that probably aren't as in favor of this team as past rosters. But as far as shooting goes and the height and the athleticism, like I think a lot of fans are going to be surprised with how good this team would match up to last year's Lobo team. There's plenty of size, a lot more athleticism than I think some fans are getting a little concerned about. But more than anything, this team can shoot. And if they can run a little bit, like he says, they play with a little bit of pace like Patino's teams did, I think they can be pretty dangerous. But this is a team full of players who are just now getting used to that elevation. Chris Howell on the elevation and kind of his initial thoughts. Being a San Diego kid, he's from the San Diego area. He didn't just play there last year. It's where he went to high school. It's where his family's from. Chris Howell on that elevation, here's what he had to say.
Yeah, the adjustment first day I looked at Coach Olen, I was like, the air is thin up here, for sure. But yeah, it's been great. Like I said, we ran the mile today. I think the team overall, including myself, we all did a great job. Pushed ourselves, and it's only going to get better. And so, yeah, it's an adjustment for sure. Something you for sure have to take in consideration. But I'm even looking further in the future of when teams come play us here. Like, I'm excited to see how that's going to be. Us getting the edge on that. And so, yeah.
All right, so you heard him mention there the team ran a mile earlier today. This is, again, as I record this Tuesday night. Tuesday morning, they go run a mile. They walk across the street, go over to the UNM track. And I asked him, after last week's national championship performance from some of his fellow UNM students and student athletes, a couple national championships, actually 3 national championships, 2 runners-up finishes, fifth place finish for the men's team overall in the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships last week, and was it 7th or was it 9th? 9th place for the women, and 2 top 10 finishes, ridiculously good. I mean, just fantastic. I did kind of ask him, did you guys watch that last week, and was that on your mind when you guys were running this mile? But I was also just kind of curious, how did the mile treat you guys? Here's what Chris Howell had to say about that.
We did. We were talking about that walking up. Yeah, that's amazing. We nobody thought we were going to be on that level, but even right before we took off running, all of us just clapping like we're in this together. We're in this together. It's like you said, everybody's getting new and adjusted to the elevation, but even something as simple as that has been like amazing. Just seeing how the team's unifying.
So you could hear it a little bit in his voice already, and just kind of how he talks about the team coming together. He is a guy that is very much into taking on a leadership role, right? It's not just that he played for and knows Eric Olen really well, has a brother who's on the coaching staff. It's just something, it's just who Chris Howell appears to be, or is he's a guy I don't know very well. I'm not going to pretend to just because I cover the team. I'm going to get to know these guys pretty well, but I haven't yet. But my initial reaction to who Chris Howell is this is who he is, man. He likes being a leader. He really likes the challenge ahead of trying to help this team grow in 1 year, the way last year's UC San Diego team grew, and just played so well together. So he was asked a couple times, like we could all see it in the room, and he was asked a couple times about leadership and what he views his role as leadership on this team. There's going to be 2 clips here about him. I'll put them back to back, but 2 clips here on Chris Howell being asked about leadership on this team. Who's it going to be, and what does he see his role as possibly being that leader on this team?
That's something I really take pride in myself, specifically of just being able to lead on and off the court. Milos does a fantastic job of doing the same thing, and so I've had great leaders in the past. On teams, I have great leaders at St. Mary's, Logan Johnson. Last year, I'm leading alongside with Tyler McGuy, Aniwa Niwate Jones, and Hayden Gray. And then now being kind of like the guy here with Milos of pulling everybody together. I think little things, just we have a really smart basketball team. And just being able to further that. I think guys ask amazing questions. Not just to the coaches, but even asking myself and Milos, like, okay, how does the coaches like this, how do the coaches like that, and just giving the little nuances of behind the scenes in a sense of being able just to pull the guys closer to the goal. We have a bunch of guys that are capable of doing that, but I know for myself that's something I really take pride in, and just leading the guys, being able to just bring everything together. Like even just off the court, the other day, my first church service out here, two of the freshmen, Jake Hall and Uriah, came with me. So something as simple as that, being able to unify the guys. And then, but as far as outside of myself, Milos has an amazing voice. Luke Hopt has an amazing voice. Like these guys, we have a bunch of guys that know how to lead. I think leading together and being able to just put it all together is the biggest thing. But yeah, something I really take pride in taking that leadership role.
All right, so obviously he's a leader. He wants to be a leader. He embraces being a leader. Just kind of who he is, I think, in his persona. Where does he get it from? He talks about he's had great leaders in his life and on the basketball court. And what about Eric Olen? Where does he stand on Eric Olen? And what are fans and the team? What are we about to all see in Eric Olen? Well, he played for him last year. He would know, right?
Yes, I think to start us off, it's Coach Olen is somebody that I trust wholeheartedly. It's a guy that you can put your faith in, that not only has high standard of basketball players and high standards for winning and has a track record of winning, but also has a high standard for the people he brings in. Brings in great guys, and I know personally he's taking care of not just myself but my family as well, and something I really love about him. And just moving forward, you can just expect high-level basketball. It's a standard that not only Coach Olen brings out of us, but even just coming here to New Mexico, it's a track record of high-level basketball here, and we don't plan on lowering that standard. We only plan on trying to raise that. So.
All right, so the guy obviously has a lot of good things to say about his coach, who was in the room at the time. He did walk in at the beginning of that press conference and was sitting there, but he would have said those nice things anyway, I'm sure. But what does Eric Olen think about what he has in Chris Howell as a leader on this team? And obviously the relationship between the Howell family and Eric Olen is a close one. Mikey played for him. Mikey's now an assistant for him. Chris Howell transferred from St. Mary's to go play for him at UC San Diego and followed him here to Albuquerque. He'd never been to New Mexico before. So obviously the relationship is good. Now let's hear a little bit from Eric Olen on what he thinks about Chris Howell, who's going to, in my mind, be pretty surefire, safe bet to be one of the starting Lobos this coming season.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate to have Chris Howell in our program. Any team in the country would be fortunate to have Chris in their program. I think you can see what kind of person he is just as he talks about things and answers questions. Like, we feel really fortunate to have someone like him in the program. Having him in the program and having him play for us for a year previous is even more helpful. He really does a great job. He talked a lot about trying to create a connected group, and he's a big part of that. He's just one of those guys that connects people on and off the floor, and really adds a lot of value. I think he's a really impactful basketball player. He impacts winning at a high level, and not all of what a small percentage of what he contributes shows up in the box score of, points scored or all that stuff. Like it's a lot bigger than that with Chris and how he impacts everyone around him. And we're really fortunate to have someone like him in the program. And we don't have a lot of guys who have played for us, but we're fortunate to have the ones we do. He's a great person, right? He's fun to be around on the court, off the court. I think he has his priorities and values in a great place. Knows who he is. Knows who he is as a player and a person. He's comfortable in his own skin. Like, I think that level of authenticity really lends itself well to leadership, right? And so he doesn't have to do anything other than be himself to kind of land in that leadership position. And given his experience with us and our staff, I think it's also kind of a natural position like that. That's why he's sitting here today. But I also think he's adept enough at being a teammate and being part of a group that he's going to leave room for other people, right? He understands that leadership isn't a one-man job, and that like he has to make space for others to also like be themselves and be authentic and kind of naturally or organically find those roles. So that's some of what I was talking about earlier when I said, like, not everything that he does shows up, but he is a huge part of creating a winning environment on and off the court.
So obviously a lot of respect back and forth between Eric Olen and Chris Howell. What did the two think about the pit? The pit's obviously, in my mind, it's the pit and the fans make the Lobo basketball program far more than any Lobo basketball team actually ever has or coach ever has. This is a program that's yet to go to a Sweet 16, as everybody knows. But yet the fans keep showing up, keep showing their passion. The building's got a home court advantage and just something to it that a lot of places don't have. So what do these two newcomers think about the pit and their first kind of experiences with it? Let's start with Chris Howell being asked when you first walked in the pit. What'd you think?
Oh, there's nothing like it. I've never experienced anything like it. It's a beautiful gym. When I came on my visit, my family walked in. I would say I have a pretty loud mother. And she did her little scream, and it echoed. And that's just her. And my brother Mikey looked at me and was like, imagine 13,000 fans just as loud, even louder, just like that. And so I'm just so excited to step foot in it and just get going.
Obviously, you said 13,000 fans. There are a lot of old-time Lobo fans would say, remember when it was 18,000. The hope would be for Lobos, if they want to start selling out more games like they have been the past few years, especially in conference play, especially against rivals like New Mexico State, although they don't play a home game against New Mexico State this year. 15,000 is the more accurate number. 15,411 is the very specific accurate number for a sellout in the pit. So that's Chris's first thought of being in the pit. And Eric Olen was kind of asked a similar question. How do you sell the pit? Like, what does the pit mean to this program? What are your thoughts on coaching? Like, have you given a thought yet on what it's going to be like to coach in the pit for the first time?
Yeah, it's hard for me to answer because I don't have the experience yet of coaching a game or participating in a game in the pit. But I also think, like, the pit is part of what makes Lobo basketball special. It's a foundational part of this program, of this community, and I think the pit is forever, right? And it doesn't matter who the coach is or if all the players are returning or if they're new. That's a foundational aspect of this place and this program, right? And so, yeah, we're all really excited about experiencing that and being part of that. But without firsthand experience, it's pretty hard to answer all the questions about what it's like, but I am looking forward to it. It's something that I've been thinking about since I took the job and walked in the building, and all these guys who came on their visits and did the same thing probably have those similar feelings.
There you go. There's Chris Howell and Eric Olen talking about the pit, and I am curious to see what their reaction to the pit is, obviously, after those first couple games, the first big game in particular. And we'll see if it's any different to what they're kind of projecting it will be now. Speaking of projections, look, I was at practice today. What did I think? First initial reaction was this team is a lot bigger than I think a lot of people think. I know I get asked all the time, when are they going to sign a big? When are they going to get another big man? When are they going to get another? They're going to get beat up on the boards. They have no size. Look, Eric Olen isn't Richard Pitino. They're not going to play the same system. He plays a 4-out, really 5-out system, and does not have a big man back to the basket down low like a lot of traditional basketball players or fans. I'm sorry, are expecting. But this team's bigger than last year's team, top to bottom. This roster, positionally wise, the positional size on this team is bigger. It just is. There's a 5'11" backup point guard as a freshman. Guy can jump out of the gym. Uriah Tenet. I was super impressed with his athleticism today, and he had one dunk that was just the dunk of the practice. Fantastic athlete. Doesn't have a whole lot of size. Okay, he's also not going to start this year in my projection. There's going to be a 6'2" point guard who starts. That was Donovan Dent size last year. And then after that, he's going to start in my mind, a 6'2" 6'6" 2 guard, 6'9" 3, 6'7", I guess 4 power forward, if you will. It's really more of a kind of the 2, 3, and 4 in my mind in this offense are kind of all wings basically, and then the 5 is going to be 6'9". So it's basically what Nelly Jr. Joseph was last year. The backup big, 7'1", JT Rock rather. This team's bigger than last year's team, and I keep getting asked why he doesn't have more big men. Well, like he does. Frankly, he just does. I don't know what else to tell people. This team has a lot of size. This team has more athleticism than I think people think, and it can shoot. It certainly can shoot. So I don't think this team's going to beat San Diego State. I don't think that's going to be happening this year in the Mountain West. It's a fantastic San Diego State team, is my guess, and I think they will be ranked in the top 25 in the preseason. But I don't think the cliff that this program, some people kind of thought this program went off of when Pitino left and took the entire staff and entire roster with him. I shouldn't say he took the whole roster with him, but the whole roster left. I don't think this program fell off a cliff. I think it hired one of the hottest rising coaching candidates in this carousel. There have already been stories out there this offseason about the best hires of the offseason, and Eric Olen's on top of the list on some of those. He's highly regarded in the coaching world for a reason. That reason is not traditional basketball. It's a lot of analytics. It's a lot of kind of a lot of 3-pointers, and it's a unique style that I think some Lobo fans may take a while to get adjusted to. But look, man, he was a hot commodity for a reason, and the Lobo should enjoy how he's putting together this team, and or the Lobo fans, in my estimation, should really just try and enjoy this because it's pretty unique. And if it works, I think Lobo fans are just gonna love the next few years of Lobo basketball with Eric Olen running the show, because it is a unique style. It's a fun style, and if it doesn't work, it's going to get ugly. I can see that. Any team that relies on a lot of threes, when those games and those threes aren't falling in those games, it can get ugly. So, but my estimation, this is going to be okay. He had Sweet 16 teams in Division II. He had the best team in the country when COVID hit in Division II. They were going to go win a Division II national championship. Then they make the transition to Division I. 4 years they were not eligible to play in the postseason. The first year that UC San Diego was a Division I team was eligible to play in the NCAA tournament. Not only did they play in the NCAA tournament, I will remind people, were ranked higher than the New Mexico Lobos. They almost beat San Diego State in Viejas Arena this year. They beat Utah State in Logan before the Lobos ever did. This was a very good UC San Diego team, and it was not as talented as this Lobo roster. Now, that team played together extremely well, and a lot of them were at least, if not more than second. They were at least second-year players in Eric Olen's system, so they all knew each other well, and they knew the system well. And the chemistry was fantastic. If all that happens with this roster that has more athleticism and a little more talent overall, then this could be a very good Lobo team. So we'll see. I'm excited because I'm an analytics guy. I like what he's doing. I like the style he's going with. It is certainly what a lot in modern basketball are going towards. It is there are NBA coaches that use the style, European teams that use a lot of stuff that Eric Olen is doing right now, and he uses what they use. I'm not suggesting they've taken it from him any more than he's taken it from them, but what Eric Olen is doing is what a lot of basketball programs around the world are doing right now. So should be exciting. Without further ado, here are some thoughts on practice. Biggest surprise to me, I would say, was probably JT Rock. I don't think he's going to start over Tomislav Buljan at the center position, but the 7'1" transfer from Iowa State was really good. I'll say this about JT Rock. I think I underestimated him. I think that's fair to say. I don't think he's going to start. Like I said, he's not going to be a starting 5. But why I was so surprised by him today, he's a lot more athletic than I thought. A lot more skilled. He was shooting threes. I think I fell victim to, I should be better than this, but I don't think I was, and I don't think a lot of people that are underestimating him are avoiding this either. But you see a 7'1" white, skinny center that didn't play much, and you're like, oh, he's just there because he was tall. That's not true, man. He is skilled. He was a top 100 recruit for a reason. He left high school at the age of 17. He is about to start his third year of college basketball, and he's 19 years old. He's still getting better. He has not reached whatever his college peak is going to be. He's got some time to get there, obviously, but he's pretty good. He was a lot better than I expected today, and that's shame on me. I probably shouldn't have had low expectations. He was a former top 100 recruit just a couple years ago. He did leave school at high school at 17. Went to a very good top 10 Iowa State team, and to expect him to have played many minutes there, it's unreasonable. So there you go. Very impressed with JT Rock today at practice. Quick thoughts on the freshmen. Two of the three I saw a lot. I did not see a whole lot of Samarius Jones, so I'm not going to give any hot takes on him. It isn't that he wasn't good or he wasn't practicing. He was. A lot of new players, a lot of new coaches. I'm watching a lot of them, obviously, but I just didn't see enough on Samarius to give you a good hot take right now, so I'm not going to give you one. Uriah Tenet, though, I will say, freakishly good athlete. Like, he's going to get minutes, even as a 5'11", 5'10", 5'11" point guard. The guy will play minutes, and his athleticism is just off the charts. It just is. He's very good. I don't see big minutes as a freshman, but I think he can play he is a Division I Mountain West level guard, but he's a freshman, so he's got a little bit of a learning curve. Jake Hall, fantastic shooter. He can create his own shot a little more than I think I probably would have expected. Kid scored 3,000 points in high school. Kind of hard to fake that in California, and the guy's good. The guy's a very good player as well. But they're both freshmen. I don't anticipate, I'm not projecting either one of those two freshmen. And like I said, I won't really give you a take on Samarius Jones right now because I just didn't get to see him enough in my first glimpse of the team today to be able to give you a real true assessment of him. I don't think any of the freshmen are going to get big minutes, but I think the two I saw enough today to have thoughts on them will play some, and they can. They're very capable. Who else? I think Milos, the other guy that transferred. It wasn't just Chris Howell from UC San Diego. The other guy that transferred from UC San Diego along with Chris Howell. I was impressed with too. I think he's a guy that can probably get some minutes, probably at the 5, and kind of be a matchup problem for some teams. And that's I keep calling him Milos Vicentic. Probably butchering it. I will learn these things, I promise. But he is from Serbia, and he's a guy that I think will get some minutes. I don't think I'm not projecting him to be a starter. He's 6'7" forward, but I think he can be a problem kind of matchup wise at that center spot and at that 4 spot where I think he can draw some opposing team bigs out a little bit, right? And try and be a mismatch for them, maybe force another team to go small. So I think he can help the team, and certainly he was with the team all last year. So he's an interesting guy for this team. Luke Hopp, he's the guy that was playing at Point Loma Nazarene in the San Diego area. He's from San Diego as well. He's a senior Division II guy, so I think a lot of people here, they got a D2 guy, big deal. Luke Hopp's going to get some minutes. You'll actually see his name when I have my projected starting lineup. I do not project him as a starter, but I project him as a top reserve. So was really impressed with that. Let's see. Before I give you my starting lineup, let me see. Who else do I want to comment on? Antonio Chol. He's a projected starter. Number 5 JUCO player in the country, rated, and certainly a 5-star JUCO guy and an All-American junior college guy. He's legit. Like, you could just tell he's got the size, he's got a skill set to him. There's a reason a lot of teams were recruiting him, not just the Lobos, but Richard Pitino's Lobos were recruiting him. This guy's good. This guy's really good. He's going to be the star. That's my guess. If he can figure this out and he can click and he can fit into this system and what everyone else is doing, because this is very much a system reliant on players fitting together. Assuming there's no problems with fit, Antonio Cho is going to be the star and potential newcomer of the year in the Mountain West Conference in my mind. So that'll be impressive if he is able to do that. But that'll be my hot take, is I do think Antonio Cho will be the star of this year's Lobo team, and I think it will be, if he is, I think he would be at least in contention for Mountain West Newcomer of the Year. Again, I'm not projecting this team to win the Mountain West. I want to remind people of that. But since this entire roster is our newcomers in the Mountain West, it would stand to reason that their best player would be in the running for Newcomer of the Year. And I do think Antonio Cho has a chance to be the star of this team. So, without further ado, here's my way too early. Why are we even doing this? It's been 1 week in June workouts, summer workouts. What are we even doing? Projected starting lineup for the year. I usually don't do this, and it's just for fun. I certainly don't pretend to know any more than any of you guys about these guys, but here we go. My projected starting lineup for this coming season. I think the projecting starting point guard will be Dayton Albury, the Utah State transfer, 6'2" point guard, lightning quick, just fantastic athlete. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised. For some reason, I get an awful lot of people sending me messages on social media and emails as well, just questioning the athleticism of this team and the size of this team. I think it's far better than a lot of people seem to think. Dayton Albury is as quick as any guard's going to be in the Mountain West Conference this year. In this 5-out system, his penetration into the paint and ability to kick out is going to be what could make or break this team. I think when you have 4 shooters on the outside, like this roster is designed to have, I think it could be very good for Dayton Albury to play in this system. Chris Howell, you heard from him earlier. He is a 6'6" 2 guard that I think can play the 2 or the 3, really, or the 4. Fantastic defender, and I just think he's going to be a guy that gets a lot of minutes because he knows the system and can defend like crazy. And if he gets some scoring, that's great too. Antonio Cho, I said, is I think going to be the star. He's 6'9". Puts the ball on the deck pretty well. He can shoot from the outside very well. Let's see how he does in a little bit more of a he's not the only star kind of system. And like I said, if everything fits and Antonio Cho can still display his skill set, man, I think this guy really has a lot of high-level basketball in his future, even beyond his playing days in college. So Kevin Patton Jr., he's the USC transfer that, look, very athletic, and I think will be a very good addition to this team. If there is a guy on this starting 5 that maybe I didn't see enough of him yet, but maybe I see as being the first guy off the bench, it might be him, and I'll get to that a little bit later. The guy who wasn't there today, who I do still project, though, to be their starting center, really more of a power forward type, but starting center at 6'9", is Tomislav Buljan. He's the guy from Croatia who is 22 and just he's going to be a beast. Maybe he ends up being Newcomer of the Year if he's as good as advertised, and he's advertised as very good. So I do think there are some key pieces. I think that will be the starting 5, but I will say this: if Tajavis Miller, who is the from North Dakota State, who was the 6th man of the year in the Summit League, maybe he's 6th man again in his last year as a senior year, but he could also be the starting 2. If that happens, maybe Chris Howell then slides to the 3, Chol to the 4, and maybe Patton's the first big off the bench. I could see that happening. And I have that spelled out there for those who are watching this. Those who are listening, I just said it. Those who are watching, you kind of see how I spelled it out there. I do think that Tajavis Miller is a potential starter at the 2. I will tell you this: Luke Hop is a guy who is going to get minutes, and key second half type minutes. I really see him playing a lot. I don't see him necessarily starting, but I bet down the stretch of second halves of games, Luke Hop is a guy that's going to be in there. He I guess to me just seems like a guy who really can play some key minutes, has a high basketball IQ. He's the son of a very winning, successful high school coach in California, and he's going to play. That'll be another one of my hot take projections. Is I think Luke Hop will will play big minutes for the Lobos and a lot of second half minutes, like when games are kind of being decided, right? And then I said it earlier, JT Rock, the Iowa State transfer, 7'1". I don't think he's going to be a starter this year. Tomislav Buljan will be that. But I think JT Rock's going to be better than he was ever given credit for because he didn't get minutes at Iowa State. I just think people need to remember he was 17 years old when he left high school. He's about to start his third year of college as a 19-year-old. Redshirted that first year at Iowa State. Didn't get big minutes in his first playing year at Iowa State as an 18-year-old redshirt freshman. Okay, I mean, Iowa State was a top 10 team, had some really good big men, and it wasn't a reflection on JT Rock being a poor player in any way, and maybe I got confused by that and thought it would be because I was surprised. He's good. You could tell he's not reached his potential yet. He's still working, but I think JT Rock could be a pretty good get for the Lobos as well. So I think there's talent here, man. I really do. I think this team has a little more talent than maybe a lot of people we're kind of giving them credit for as the recruiting process was going on for Eric Olen and team, or Eric Olen and crew, however you want to say it, and company. But I do think that this team has some talent. I think it has more size than it's been given credit for. And I do think that this team has more athleticism than probably given credit for. So we shall see, right? As we progress with this podcast, I do hope you enjoyed this podcast. It was a lot of me talking. It is talking grammar. I apologize for you people who are upset when I talk too much on these podcasts. Well, today was an awful lot of me talking because I did not have a guest. So hope you guys enjoy these podcasts. Hope you enjoy all the podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal Podcast Network. I hope you can subscribe if you can to help local journalism, help us bring you content like this, stories like we have every day in the Journal, not just the sports section, but front to back, we're still putting out a pretty quality product. I'm pretty proud of what we're doing at the Journal right now. I really am. I'm not just saying that. If you can support local journalism, please do so. abqjournal.com/subscribe. Reach out to me. Let me know what you think about these podcasts at Jeff Grammer on social media. You can find me ggrammer@abqjournal is my email. Let me know. This is June, first glimpse. Wasn't even a full hour that I got to watch a team that's only known each other for 1 week. But I guess I would have to say my initial reaction was a positive one. And I don't think this team is falling off the cliff that some Lobo fans may have worried they were going to do. So next week, I plan to get back to the one-on-one interviews. And with the guests, I will resume the UNM assistant coach interview series in 2 weeks. This coming week, I believe this coming week, I guess I won't say it for sure just because it hasn't been finalized, but I believe this coming week I will have a non-UNM interviewee, guest, most people would say. And then after that, I think we're getting back to the interviewing of the UNM assistants, which you guys have given me a lot of great feedback for. So far, I have done, Tom Tanklewitz, I did Mike Wilder, and Sam Stapleton are the three assistants that I have done interviews of, and there's 2 more to go. And then some other staffers that I'll get on the pod eventually. So I appreciate all the feedback you guys have been giving. The numbers have been great on these podcasts too. So I really do appreciate you guys are watching and listening and all that good stuff. Please rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. These podcasts will show up right in your phones. If you're listeners, if you're to the audio podcast, just subscribe. They'll show up right away when they're ready. So much appreciated. Until next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.